too much crazy stuff. What is up, Internet? I'm here with Kenny Young, my friend. He's bigger than you. He's meaner than you. He's nicer than you. Kenny, how you been, bud?
Good, man. How you been?
A little stressed today. I had all the kids, and I don't know how my wife does it. I don't know how she deals with my kids and other people's kids, because like she's doing babysitting now.
That's what's up.
Yeah, she's putting us some extra money in the bank.
That's what's up.
I got a good wife. You know about that. You got you a new lady.
Yeah.
How'd that happen? How'd y'all meet?
We just kind of hit it off, talked a little bit over the internet. Next thing you know, we kind of met up.
You hopped in the DMs.
Hopped in the DMs, brother.
Wait, she hopped in or you hopped in?
I hopped in first.
You know? Yeah, shoot or shoot, Kenny. Shoot or shoot. Well, man, I know we're a little pressed for time today, so we're going to get right into it. Everyone knows you got a great story. I've had every time I ever had a show, I did try to get you on and get to talk a little bit about your story, because, man, it's a redemption story. People can say whatever they want to. I respect you more probably than you know. I think you kind of get it, but I do respect you a lot as a person. I love you as a person. If anyone ever talk bad about you around me, I ain't saying I can beat them up, but if they can turn and look away, they're probably going to get cold cocked, son. They're going to have a rough go.
That's what's up.
So, Kenny, what was high school like for you? How high school? What was that like for you?
Man, high school was different for me. Most people, football was a thing here. Sports was a thing here. I played pee-wee football all the way up until I got to high school. High school I was just different. You know what I mean? I didn't fit in. I felt like I didn't fit anywhere. I'm sure I did. But that's just what my feelings was going through at that time. Insecurities.
Yeah.
That was a big issue.
Teenage is hard.
Teenage is hard, man. Like I look back at my life and think, man, that was rough because you had two sides to choose from. If you wasn't on this side, you was on this side. And if you was on this side, might as well go with it. You know?
Yes, sir.
But it was different, man. I figured out, like started working with my dad early off, man, and I started making money. It was something I was good at. And then high school was kind of just wasn't my thing, man. Like it was just different for me. I didn't apply myself in the things I should have applied myself into.
Yeah.
I was going at a different pace. I met the crowds I was around was kind of rambunctious, you could say,
Was that your first? So high school was probably the first time you experimented with anything.
It was, man. Once I got into high school, I started dabbling a little bit with alcohol.
Okay.
And it wasn't much, but weed started coming into play, and then pills started coming into play. Then a little bit harder things started coming into play, and it was just a little much. It got a hold of me pretty quick.
I'll speak to that. The drink, man. I act like I have my drinking under control. I act like that very often. But I know, and Vicky knows, and my friends know, people that know me know, if I was to get a hold of just a bottle that I like, I'm telling you, I can drink. I just ain't no good I ain't no good once I've drank. You know what I mean? I just drink until it's gone.
I know the feeling.
I like it. I don't mean to be that way. So I love Alto's tequila. So I don't just keep a bottle of Alto's tequila. All this stuff, this is all sipping. I ain't trying to drink that quick. So I get that. Me and you've been friends long as I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you was going through your spell, you were always polite to me, Kenny.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, and I know other people that are right now going through things. They're going through drug problems and stuff. And I've gave them money. I've had them around me, and they've never done anything bad to me. Right. I know how bad they are on it. I know him, man. I know the guy, and I know what he's going through. And he's never shorted me $1, man. He never took nothing from me.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So I understand, like, it might happen where you take from other people. I get it, but like, I have a hard time believing that they're just 100% bad. I just think it's easy to slip up here where we are. Why do you think it's so easy to get meth and meth and pills here? Why is it so easy to get that here?
Man, I don't know. It's just one of these things that dumps out here. You know what I mean? And like nothing to do, man.
At all.
At all. Yeah. And like there's no. That's what was so cool about the gyms opening up. Just being different, man. We've been inside a box. You think of where I'm from, Henniger, small town. Okay, it's just been in a box.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, the thing that really saved me, this is no joke, man. There was worst times in my life was playing ball at Henniger Park, just basketball stuff. You know, I loved it, but I'd go up there late at night. You know what I mean? Just kind of blow off some steam. Met some really cool people there, man. It was just amazing. It was like a little sanctuary, and I just think they needed more. You know what I mean? Some people just, you know, they need something different. You know, not everybody's the same. You know what I mean?
Everyone don't want to play football.
Everybody don't want to play.
Everybody don't want to play basketball.
No
and
doubt.
they shouldn't have to just to be cool, just to fit in. There should be. I understand we can't let people fight in schools. I get that.
Yeah, totally.
But there's also schools in Chattanooga that have boxing teams.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can. You know,
and it's just outside that box.
Yeah. Why do we not have wrestling teams here in DeKalb County? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like I understand soccer's. My kids play soccer now. I'm soccer dad. But like, there should be wrestling in the school. My kids should be training more. Other kids should have the opportunity to train. And parents will say, well, I can't make them do nothing they don't want to do. That's literally your job. You know how many things my mom made me do I didn't want to do?
Ain't that the truth,
a lot. And I took her cigarettes for it. So again, this is your story. I'm just grabbing bits and pieces from it that I know. And again, if I put anything out that you don't want to talk about, don't.
Yeah,
this is your story.
Hey, it's an open book with me, and that's one of these things that I love my story.
Yes,
you know
me too.
I mean?
I'm a great fan.
You know, and it's something, and it's just something that didn't happen overnight. And part of that story is just being willing to try something different. I knew I needed to do something different, but I didn't know how. And then here I was in this circle in a box. Everybody I knowed was high.
All the time.
So I couldn't just run anywhere. And that I'll say it right here, man. Like you go into a church, I feel different. You know what I mean? I feel judged in certain areas. So I wouldn't want to run there. You know what I mean? At that particular time.
Because you did mess up.
Because I did mess up. And it made me feel some type of way. Like I didn't know, like this whole gospel thing, what I know now, like he takes you for who you are.
Yes.
Exactly. Where
they're messing up too, bud. Everybody messing up.
And that was the crazy part. Was one of the things that helped me was understanding, like I thought I had to live this certain walk the line kind of thing. I was looking at everybody else's life and saying, man, these dudes got it made. You know what I mean? But I didn't see Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday and Saturday of what was going on in their life.
You saw them in their Sunday best.
I seen them in their Sunday best. And here I am trying to live up to that Sunday best.
Yeah.
And when I didn't make it, man, I'd feel I wasn't worthy enough. I'd feel that, you know what I mean? Maybe I ain't destined for this certain thing, you know?
And people do judge, and they shouldn't. Everyone's sin in Bible. People say stuff like God hates gay people, or God hates this, or God hates drug heads.
No.
I don't think God hates. No, not the God I've heard about.
No, he don't, man. It's how we're supposed to respond to him. Like everybody talks about, it's easy to talk about somebody, and if they're in this gay or whatever. So does that give you the right to just bash them?
When you're making fun of them, when you also are dating 3 or 4 women over there, you're married and this lady? No, there's no cutoff to that.
There's none. Man.
Is it wrong? Yes, but so is half the stuff you're doing.
Yeah,
half the stuff everyone else is doing is bad. So when you again on the drugs, when was the first time that you tried? What drug were you on when you were at your worst? What was the worst thing you did?
Methamphetamines, man, and that was 18-year-old. 18 by 19, I was manufactured.
Good God.
You know what I mean? I grew up really fast. I seen a lot of things. When I was growing up, kind of the roughneck. I was working full time, and you got older guys that's on the job site. You know, you start seeing things.
Let's pick you up, son.
Things just started. It was fun, man. It was fun. It was when I first tried it, dude, it was just like the greatest thing ever because it's the deceitful kind of the drug. It gives you, it takes somebody with no like low self-esteem and it flips it. Like it built me up. I was confident. You know,
You're that guy.
Yeah, it's like, it was everything that I was looking for. I worked harder. All these like I could talk to anybody, and then over the time, man, it just started getting downhill, man. Like I said, at 19, I was living here in Rainsville, and this is a crazy part. Best friend out of high school, we're kind of living together. Guy comes up. He says, man, let me show y'all something. And this is way back when. And once he showed us, man, we was making trips to Walmart, buying every piece to make it. I put everything in a buggy and could make it. Just
walk out Walmart.
And like, it was crazy. And it was like addictive. I got more addictive to that kind of lifestyle. The sad part was, man, like snorting it. You know what I mean? I was kind of, it was cool, smoking it. It was my thing. But, man, this person introduced me, man. And the first time I ever tried it, they put it in my arm.
Oh, God.
So that took a whole nother level of like.
And you was 18, 19?
18, 19 years old, man. And that's crazy because I was scared to death of needles, man. Scared to death of needles. And the main reason I done it is because somebody basically said I couldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jesus.
Yeah, you can't be this way. You can't act a certain way if you do it like this. And I was always this underdog guy, like in school. You know what I mean? I watched guys get picked on and made fun of. I could mix with any crowd. You know, that wasn't my problem. I'm more related to this because, man, dude, like. There's something about changing lives and like
it's awesome.
Once I got it, like this chick got me riled up on this stuff, you know what I mean? I thought I was king of the world, man. I was married 14 years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man, I had it going on, you know what I mean? She was wonderful, like not a bad word about her, man. Like I don't know how she put up with me as long as she did. And finally she had to make a change.
Yeah.
And when she made that change, thing kind of went.
Now, is that your son's mama?
That's my son's mama.
Such a nice young man. Kid.
Yeah, he's a jam up dude, man. And like, once that happened, I disappeared. I disappeared off the map, man, for, I don't know, man. There was 4, 5, 6 years that went by in my life that I couldn't really tell you where I was at, what I was doing, what I missed. I was in and out of my son's life, you know, rightly so. Family, you know, I kind of couldn't get in between there because I wasn't straightening up, and I get it now. I look back sober, and I understand. Like, thank God you didn't have me around him.
Yes,
tell where I'd be. You know what I mean?
So on the subject of that, was it someone you knew? Was it a family? Not like don't put. I get it. We're cool. No, we ain't snitching on nobody.
Yeah, no, we ain't done.
Was it someone close to you that put you on that scene?
Well,
someone you had known all your life, without putting them out there in the open. I'm just asking.
No, and yeah, no. It was one of these things. Like my dad was cool dude. You know,
such a cool guy.
Cool guy.
Great.
Straightened his life up. But when I was younger, man, it was just a different crowd. I always hung out with older folks.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, I was hanging out with somebody. You know what I mean? At least 5 or 6 older than I was. You know, I'm a freshman in high school. They seniors or graduates, you know what I mean?
They pretty.
Yeah. and the thing was, it's like, I ended up at a buddy's house, man. And this moment we're talking, and then somebody walks into the room and bam, there it was, you know, it happened that quick. And Sam, I'm telling you, man, like it took my life. Like at first it was great, man.
Yeah.
And then I'm talking about, it was pulling me apart, dude. Like really pulling me apart, mentally, physically, just tearing everything apart.
On the subject of your son, I was talking to someone the other day about this. This is an area where it's very, very easy. Like how long would it take me to find me an 8-ball or something if I wanted to right now? What, 30 minutes?
Not even that long, bro.
There you go. See?
You know?
So I think sometimes a lot of these people, like you said, I do think older people are trying to get that younger generation a little hooked on some stuff. I have kids, man.
Yeah. I touch on that because listen, I was young at this time. And the deal was like I was around some people at that particular time did the same thing to me. I had no conscience. Teenagers ain't got no conscience. Kids ain't got they don't understand it yet. They just got, you know what I mean?
This feels good.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I got used. I remember being in a place one time and a group of people come in and I really looked up to them, you know what I mean? The next thing you know, man, they're carrying me to a place in Georgia, you know, because I knew how to do certain things, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and they carried me to a place in Georgia and they dropped me off, man. To people I've never met before in my life.
Yeah.
At all.
But you thought they were cool.
Yeah, I thought they was cool and like they bailed out on me, but the deal was they was wanting me to do things for them. You know what I mean? And it was one of these things, and I'd never forget it because here's the deal. This is how immature I was. They come got me, you know, and you thinking, oh, I'm pissed off, you know what I mean? And they took me around Little River Canyon. And it was the best time of my life. But it was a peace moment. You know what I mean? You got to understand that all the chaos that was going on. I was going through, you know, with this methamphetamine, man, it takes you to a whole nother level. And they carried me around. And some of the things that they said was like, you know, we're family. We're this, we're that.
I got you back, brother.
Yeah. And they built me up because here's the deal. That was something I was looking for.
A lot of people don't have that.
Yeah. I was looking for that love, that appreciation. When you got low insecurities, man, that self-esteem.
Someone pumping you is good, man.
Someone pumping you will get you to do anything and everything. Yeah. All you got to do is act like you care, and that's sad, man.
It is awful, and people take advantage of that. There's so many people in the world that just need a little bit of love, and a lot of times they ain't getting that.
No.
I know this for a fact, and I know you're the same way. If I ever heard of anyone offering my kids drugs, it's an easy area to get on it. If I knew about it, if I heard about it, I don't think it would be a physical altercation. I think it would be a life-changing altercation at that point.
Yeah.
I just don't think I can even stomach the thought of that. In the middle of, and I know you're the same way, and I got your family's back the same way. It ain't cool, man.
It ain't cool.
It's a weird thing to say. If you want to be 60 and do whatever you do, do whatever you do. You leave my family alone.
Yeah.
When did you go? What was the moment where you went, man, I got a problem. Something's going on. What was that?
There was several moments, you know what I mean? In addiction, like you go on this 3-day binge, you know what I'm saying? Like I would go out to get loaf of bread, come home 3 days later.
Good God.
You know what I mean? It wasn't the fact that I didn't go home. It was the fact a lot of times I was scared or disappointed, or I was more and shaming myself than anything. You know what I mean? I let them down. I let my family down. I got a kid. I got this. And I just stay out, and I keep using it to kind of numb the pain. You know what I mean? And there were several times that I said I want to quit. Several times that I tried to quit. I'd do good for so long, and I'd go right back at it. And the one time, man, I was at a place, and this is going to sound crazy, man. Like I was at a place in Outer.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody asked me to ride with them, and so they got into an altercation, right? So I hop in the back seat, and she's driving here, another dude in the back, and I'm sitting on the driver's side. Well, we pull up to this house, pull in the driveway, dude standing in his underwear. This is the honest to God's truth. I'm telling you.
Sounds like me.
Standing in his underwear on the porch, and he fires 7 shots into the car, right? Unexpected. And here's the kicker to that. They had been over there earlier, right? Started trouble.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, they didn't tell you neither.
They didn't tell me. But the dude that was doing the shooting knew that they was by themselves. He didn't know that there was anybody in the back.
Cat in the back seat.
So he was shot, all 7 shots in the back seat of the car. This is God's honest truth. I got a little scar, and it grazed me. And then you ever seen in the movies where a dude gets shot? You're like, oh God, I'm bleeding. You know,
yes.
I thought I was dying. You know what I mean? And I looked at my shirt. It was just a piece of metal from the car had grazed me.
That's awfully.
You know what I mean? And I told myself, you know, I'm done.
I about died in Otter.
Yeah, I said I'm done. We get to the place where we're pulling up. Everybody's just like, when I seen the car, I started throwing up. And I told the chick I was with, I said, I'm walking home, man. And I started like kind of walking home. And I remember dude hollering at, man, come on. I know it's come on, just come inside and do one with me, man. It'll be all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, bleep you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of just started walking down the road, man. And like, that was one point in my life. But right before that, I went to the divorce. And when I went to the divorce, I had no accountability, dude. That was a dark spot in my life.
You say maybe you were kind of accountable to the wife and son a little then? Is
that was my
or?
safe haven.
I got you.
She was like I could come home and like straighten up a little bit. But once that was gone, I just went all out, man. I mean, this is God's honest truth, man. I've seen more eyes here than they've probably seen. Most people seen their whole life, and that's just God's honest truth, man. Like we was getting with it.
Do you think maybe I ain't trying to put you in a weird spot as far as everything goes. Do you think Color Code is a really, really good program to get people off of drugs? Or do you think it's more of kind of, hey, we're getting money back into the community? Or what are your thoughts on that?
I got several thoughts on that. Used to, I was like, I hate Color Code. And then now I met some of the people and I start to understand a little bit how it works. But once again, you fall into this category just like high school. Okay. I've seen people walk in that dude, it's got a good relationship, walk out of that dude clean as a whistle. Then you take somebody that has no family, kind of just he's looked at as a nobody.
Little rapscallion.
Yeah, he's a nobody. But truthfully, you're not given time of day to know him. You don't know his story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't know why he's went to prison. You don't know why. This is a lifestyle that he had no choice but to be in, right? And they throw him to the wolves. And I think there should be more counseling involved as far as one-on-ones with, and I know it's so big that you probably can't, but they could hire peer support groups to come in, and when a guy comes in and pays him the money, right? He pays, he's good. No, man, how about taking time if he's got time? Sometimes, they're in a hurry. Why not sit down and just have a...
Got 5 minutes, do you need to talk?
Let's talk to him, man. This ain't got to be nothing about drugs or, hey, you had any thoughts? No, man, how's your kids?
Yeah.
How's your job?
How's life going?
Life going, man?
I like that.
You know what I mean? And that's because I've seen the good side of Color Code because it keeps you accountable, but also there's good and bad in everything, man. So I can't sit here and try to bash it in some way because for a while it is kind of the money thing,
Yeah,
I mean?
there's a little money in there.
There's a little money in it, and that's just part of it. But since you got that money, why not make it a little bigger? Why not have this,
How did you find his place? How did you end up in that program? How did that happen?
Man,
tell me about your experience there. All of that. Give me the juice. Listen,
man, I'd been at a house. God almighty, man, it's rough. I ain't gonna say it was rough because it's good people, man. Everybody I met some really good folks. Then I've also met some evil folks.
They're devils on this planet.
These devils, brother. And they tell you they love you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was one of these things, man. I was there and a guy, it's going to sound weird, man. But
good.
He's a jam up dude. And if he listens to this podcast, he's always going to talking about him, dude. Well, I was staying at his house and he did nothing but treat me right, man. Did nothing but treat me right. I started playing this semi-pro football.
That's cool.
Yeah, they taught me into playing a couple of games. I'd been clean a little bit, not much, but well, I went hard off the deep end. Once the divorce, and I ended up at this particular house, and I always met him, so I went back to his house, and he let me borrow his truck one day, man. Well, I basically stole his truck, stole his gun. Like, seriously, like, you know what I mean? Just douchebag, Well, one day I've had enough, man. Like, I can't explain how it happened. I said, I got to change, man. I got to change. I was at a buddy's house. I was looking at my life. My son's growing up. I ain't seen my brother. I ain't seen my family. I mean, it's just horrible. I was done, man. I was so done. I remember being at a house. And I always knew this Bible thing. There's something drawn to me about it, man. I'd be getting high reading. That's the only book I ever read.
Bible high?
Yeah. I was like one of these, I wasn't preaching to nobody, but I wanted to know more about it. And here's the crazy part, man. Once that happened, I stopped getting high. Like I could not get high. Like no matter how much they give me, like they was high, I wasn't. You know what I mean? And it was just this drag on moment. And my buddy, he's over here. He's caught this God thing, you know. And I was like, you know, I gotta call him. I was like, listen, man, I need some help. I said, I'm willing to do whatever you got to do. He said, well, can you meet me, you know, in a particular place to get me out? Now you got to think, man, I stole this guy's truck.
And his gun.
And he likes his guns.
Oh, yeah.
And he could have told me at any time, Sam, he could have said, man, whatever, dude.
Don't come to my house.
Don't come to my house. He didn't. And it changed my life. That's one of the moments I said, listen, that's what if there's anything I want to be like, I want to be like that. Forgive him. You know what I mean? Because he understood that, hey, I made a mistake. You know what I mean? But I also manned up to him, you know, years later and be like, thank you, brother. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm at this house and I'm leaving. I take off walking down the road, man. I'd been up. I look rough, bro.
You seen them shadow people, yeah?
I was chasing them dudes.
Get out of my yard.
I'm walking down the road and this is middle of the day and old dude stops by. Corey.
Yes.
Corey Caldwell. I love you, brother.
Corey Caldwell, Willow Tree and Henniger, man. He's a good cat.
Good cat, man. And he can tell you about stories of me going to the park. You know what I mean? Playing basketball and seeing certain things. But he could have just kept going, dude. He could have kept going. He could have just like, I'm not picking this dude up.
Not Kimbo.
Yeah. Well, he scooped me up, man. And who knows in between from point A to point B in addiction. If you're not on top of it, man, when you say you go, man, my mind, I could have made it to the willow tree and turned around, you know, and been like back at it. But he picked me up and he got me to my family's house. And I'm forever grateful for it. These guys, I was telling you about that friend of mine, they had connections through his place. And I told him, I said, I don't want to go to a rehab. I want to go somewhere where I can learn about this Bible thing because I'm really getting into it. And they sent me down there. Ended up in a transfer truck. Me and a buddy of mine, we rode down there. And it was wild. You got to understand, I've been up 5-6 days, you know, and I get down to his place and I'm like, you know, whatever. And they told me, they said, you got 30 days to kind of sleep it off, get you some rest. Dude, I slept like 4 or 5 days. You know what I mean? I'd raise my head, they'd check on me and I'd be like, yeah, I'm good. You know, you know?
How are you, buddy?
But when I come to, man, I'm telling you, his place, it changed my life, man.
They gave you 30 days to sleep it off, though.
Yeah. Well, you kind of, it's like a transitional period at this particular time. Like you're coming in, you got 30 days to kind of get your body right, your mind right, because everybody's coming off with different drugs. You just don't want to throw them in there. You know what I mean? And it was cool because it gave me time to see how things work. And the guys that come in, man, was like, they just showed me love, dude. Like it was like, I've known them my whole life.
Some of the nicest guys I've ever met.
Man, I'm telling you. And next thing you know, man, I just started grinding it at the place. You know, I knew I wanted something different. I told God, I was like, listen, man, if you're real, I said, I'm going to give it to you. I told him, I said, you know, I surrender. My biggest thing was I'd touch it, you know, I mean, I wouldn't fully surrender. And once I learned to do that, Sam, dude, God just started working in my life. Like, you know, his place is really just a building, you know what I mean? But having the opportunity, the encouragement, and the love kind of just motivated me, man. I was a product of my environment. Here I am, I'm high as heck because everything I'm around getting high, but you put me in a place to where I can actually get sober. Things started changing, man. Like, and I wanted more of it, dude. I remember getting in this dude and like singing. I couldn't stop singing. It sounds crazy. I'd wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. We had these wake ups. Usually you get up at 5. You start doing your chores. You know, you got 30 guys in a house and one farmhouse.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. You know, you got everybody telling stories. You got everybody moving around. So I'd get up an hour before everybody else and I'd walk outside, man, and I'd just pray, you know, and I told God, I was like, listen, man, I don't know how to pray, you know? And so I started, they told me, he said, well, talk to him like you would want your father to talk to you. vice versa, just having a conversation, man. And I'd be out there, and they started out with some cuss words. I'd be like, I'm tired of this bleepity bleep bleep bleep, come on, God. And it kind of started dying down a little bit because I was angry. I was angry at me. I was angry at a lot of decisions I made. And I felt like I was angry at God. I was like, why am I going through these things that I'm going through in my life? Why am I doing this? And the moment I realized this is, it's not the why, you know what I mean? It's like, what's behind that why? What he has in store for me? And man, I just started praying, dude. It sounds crazy. It's like a release. Like, I think a lot of kids, a lot of teenagers around here are carrying burdens they shouldn't have to carry.
Amen.
A lot of kids out there are holding on to things because they're too scared to release, too scared to do this. And that was one of the big changes for me. Release, man. If it's talking to a tree, I'm releasing. I'm getting stuff out. And listen, this dude started answering. Man, he started answering like his place just, I couldn't get enough of the Bible, dude. I can't explain it. It was like I was in class, and every night I'd come in and I got notebook after notebook after notebook after notebook. Sam, I'm telling you, I said, if there's one thing that I die, I said, I'm like,
Boom. You was on you was talking about the book, and you said, I ain't got nothing.
And I don't, like, in a sense. And I said, if there's something I'm going to leave behind, I wanted to leave behind something. You ever been to your grandparents' house and you go in their closets, you look at the old photos and knickknacks, what I mean? That's what I wanted to leave behind.
That's cool.
I wanted my son to be able to come through my house one day after I'm gone, and he just opens this book or shoebox or whatever, and it's got all my stuff when I was just hammering down, because when he starts going through it, it's going to save his life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was my biggest thing. And little did I know, while I was doing all these studies, I was like, I do a really good class on Nehemiah and David and all these things, because I put it in an addiction standpoint, and I was doing these things, and like, once I was graduated the program, I never knew that I'd be teaching out of this same book.
Yeah.
So God had a purpose, you know what I'm saying? He had this thing going. He knew what was happening the whole time. So I was there maybe 4.5 months, and I'm in the kitchen, and like, I've been just like praying like crazy, listening to this Bethel CD. Like, I'm just in it to win it.
Yeah.
And the dude comes in. He said, "Hey man, how'd you like to go to New York?" I was like, "Yeah,
that'd be cool.
That'd be cool, man." I was like, "Yeah, I could," because I wanted to buy. I would live in this box, man, like this right here.
You ain't never got to go nowhere.
He never went nowhere, and so they said I wanted to do an internship at Times Square Church. And I was like super stoked, because, I got my phone early. Most time you got to wait like 8-9 months. Like, I was hating on me because I got my phone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I getting on this plane, and it hits me, man. I'm scared to death, brother. I'm like, how's this going to work, man? Like, I'm like, I already got insecurity, like insecure,
And now I'm going to New York.
And I'm going to New York. Not kind of just, I'm the type to sit way over here, not in the middle, of the crowds. Well, I'm getting on this plane, and I'm sitting there, and this old guy beside me, and we started talking, and, I started telling him a little bit about my story. And then he said, "You know what, son?" He said, "Boy, I love God." You know what I mean? He's a preacher.
Yeah.
And God put me in the same seat with this dude, and he just started just encouraging me.
He's hitting you with the words, huh?
He's hitting me, dude. He gave me a hat. I'll never forget. It had praying hands on it. And I get off the plane, and I'm actually in Pennsylvania, right outside of Hershey, Pennsylvania. And I get off the plane, and these cats pick me up, and they're like different,
Yeah,
different. And I'm walking into this Times Square Church. They carry me up, and the guys that brought me, man, I don't know about saying his name, but I'll just call him Earl. You know what I mean? Because he's a cool dude, man. Because I got off the plane, and he says, "Hey, man, what's your addiction?" And I said, "Methamphetamines." And he looked at me and said, "Yeah, mine too, man." I was like, what? And what's crazy is like he started showing me all these papers, and he used to run with the mafia. Like his whole family was like this mafia oriented. He got busted with 147 pounds of meth.
Good God.
Had 3 houses, $1.2 million seized. And God knew what he's doing once again because I was comfortable. Like I could talk to this dude. We had the best relationship.
He done the same thing.
He done the same thing, man. And I was like, I see him just parting ways. And the next guy I speak to, he actually says, he's got to be from Alabama. And I look up, and this old guy that's kind of over the place from Crossville, Alabama.
That's cool, man.
You know what I mean?
That is weird.
He said, I knew you was from Sandmountain. I just knew it.
That's wild, Kenny.
It was, man. And that's just a tip of the journey, man, that God's put me through. Like, people have no clue, man, what God could do if just a little bit of surrender. Like, and just all it takes is just a little bit of a want to, and people like you and people in this community to recognize that and build off that. I know they're trying to open up another home here or something like that, a men's home. And listen, that's great. But these people around this community need to come together, man.
Be nice to them.
And listen, it's not about going to a house and, hey, I need you to come to church. No, it's about going to their house and say, hey, man, you want to have dinner? You want to talk? Or nothing about all that. I just want to be your friend. I want to know what's up. Like, this is so.
How y'all doing?
Yeah, that's it. I don't care about, hey, you're in addiction, you're doing wrong. Hey, I'm pretty sure the dude knows that. You know what I'm saying? He don't need no more of that. What he needs is, hey, man, listen, dude, if you need anything, just holler at me. Work them as much as you can. If it's just for a day or just to help them out. Hey, well, they're going to go buy drugs. Well, you never know, man. You never know. They might go buy that food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's one of these things.
Might get their kids some socks.
They might do it, man. There's so many times that I think my life would have changed if that person would have come to the door and been like, hey, I'm going to go get something to eat.
Get a cheeseburger?
Yeah. Instead, it was like, hey, I'll just, I want you to come here and come there. And like, I stood in line at the church, man, not the Baptist church. It's a wonderful thing. But I stood in line at the church getting a box of meals.
Same.
You know what I mean? But also, in a sense, I felt shameful.
Yeah.
You should feel that way. Shouldn't be like that.
No, so I need help and I'm getting it.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you gotta come to attend one service to get this box. I'm good, man. I'll do without the box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not the point of going to church. It's just the fact of,
like, you're making me do that.
Yeah,
like,
I'm going to be on the spotlight. Like, I'm a spotlight.
Well, they're going to sit there and preach a sermon about we're going to help the poor. And you're like, well, I'm the poor, man. Leave me alone. I get that.
Listen, man, I've watched one of the top-notch preachers. And I'm telling you, dude, this dude is like way up there. When I was at a funeral one time.
Mark Adams says he loves you.
I love that dude too, man. We was at a funeral one time, and just say there was some people homeless, and I watched this dude homeless come in and sit down in the pew. Okay, I've seen they had their stuff there, and I'm noticing stuff because I'm not up in the pews. I'm just standing there looking around.
Yeah,
and I watched the dude look and see who was sitting beside him, and I watched them get their stuff and walk all the way over to the pew.
They don't sit like that, dude. That ain't it.
That ain't it, brother.
That ain't it.
That ain't it.
That ain't God, man.
I was like, man, and that's why I'm very picky when it comes to certain things like that, dude. And like,
I am too.
Man, it just to love the unlovable, right? You know what I'm saying? There's people out there that can't love because they've never been loved. You know what I mean?
Don't know how to handle it.
They don't know what's up.
I know I'm terrible to deal with for Vicky because, like, growing up, man, people can say whatever they want. I had a pretty rough life growing up, and I don't know how to like when me and her first got together, I would shove her away.
Yeah, it's a natural thing,
and I didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
I was drunk off my tail. I was an alcoholic, bad, and I just didn't know how to. I would always tell her, I was like, well, if you want to leave, just leave. If you're just gonna go, now you got a reason to go. And like, and I really thought she was looking for a reason to leave, and I don't think so. She probably had to look for reasons to stay. Now that I look back at it, man,
ain't that the truth? Though?
It is.
That's beautiful. You know what I mean? To work through something like that. I've seen guys, dude. I buried 19 guys in 3 years.
It's awesome.
Buried him.
Oh, I thought you married. That's
No,
terrible.
No,
That's
I don't
terrible.
do the whole marriage thing. Buried 19 guys in
Awful.
3 years from being a director at his place, man.
Some of them he's pretty dang good friends with.
Man, you get to know a guy, you live with him. Every day you wake up, you're eating together. Everything that you do, you're doing together. And like over 8-9 month time, man, you get to knowing a guy, man. You get to knowing certain things and you loving them. They're doing good and they make one mistake and that's it. Some people ain't got that opportunity, man. And that was a real toll, man. Working in ministry is one of the hardest things in the world that I ever did. And it's a cutthroat ministry. Ministry sometimes, I'm sorry to say it, man. I'm just keeping it real. Cutthroat. You know what I mean? There's more backstabbing and gossip and gripe and complaining going on in that dude anywhere else.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's in their nature. You know what I mean? That's in our nature, man. We're envious people. We're jealous people. We do certain things. We want the fame. We want this. We want that.
The money.
Whatever it may be. That's just who we are. And that's why I say, like, everybody needs it daily. One thing it taught with Paul was one of my favorite dudes in the Bible. He says, man, I need this dude daily. Like, this dude was a bad dude and he got converted. And he's like, I need him daily because I fall short, man. And until people can realize and get off their pedestal and understand, hey, I fall short. You know what I mean? I think it's trash, man. That's just the way I feel.
You can't be looking down on people in the church. That's not how it works. No one wants to come to that. It's supposed to be church.
Yeah.
God's there for everybody. Again, God doesn't hate anybody.
What would happen if we talked about our likes instead of our differences?
We'd all get along. We'd all be good, man.
Well, instead, everybody wants to argue or dislikes or
they want it to be one way or the other.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be one or the other. You can have different views.
You can have different views.
I don't even know what your political views are. We get along fine, man. We don't need to know. We cool. We good.
They took them away from it.
I think just talking to you, man, have you ever thought about being a preacher?
Man, I've thought about it. I really have. Like
You're a good talker, man.
These guys always, they'd be like, they try to call me a preacher, or they, you know, and I'd always say, no, man, like I'm not that guy. I'm just somebody just been there. You know what I'm saying? Like it does. Man, you couldn't imagine watching the worst of the worst come in that place, and then watching God just change your life, man. There's a good friend of mine that come to the program, Tristan. I love you. I remember the first time I went to the jail to visit this dude. There was two of them, two inmates, and I'm coming in. I'm all dressed up in my suit because I felt good in the suit. Man.
Yeah, same.
It made me feel good. I'm walking in, and like usually I'm in handcuffs. You know what I'm saying? And they come in and they said, "Who are you here to see?" And I said, "This particular person." And he looked at me and he said, "Man, you might as well turn around and go back, dude." I was like, I said, "That's what they said about me."
Oy.
I hit him hard. You know what I mean? I said, "I'm that same guy."
Yeah, I'm the guy.
Just because I had that suit on, it covered up my tattoos. You know what I mean? I was like, "I'm that guy." And that dude's been sober 3 years, man.
That's awesome.
He's actually, you know, we work together, man. And to see him moving in the direction he's moving for better in his life, them moments is what it's all about. It's like, you know, there's dudes come in there, he ain't gonna make it. That's the ones I like.
Yeah, we good. We gonna help them make it.
That's the ones I like, man.
Kenny, it's been great talking to you today. The way today went, just talking to you, man, you hold me accountable pretty good. I probably need to talk to you more in my life. I was a little rough on my kids today. I should have just appreciated the time with them more. They're always with their mama. I should have appreciated that time a little more. I know you pray a lot. I'll take prayers from you anytime you can throw them up. Because I know he's listening to you a little more than some people, man. Go ahead.
Well, you know, and that's what we think. You know what I mean? That's what we think. Listen, man, it's one of these release things. Listen, even with the kids, you know, it's one of these. Hey, look where God's brought you, brother. Yeah. I'm going to brag on you a little bit.
You can do that.
I'm going to. Look where God brought you. I remember hedge bushes out of school.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. But what I'm saying is look what he's done for you, man.
Yes, sir.
Look how many people's lives you impacted. I've seen, including my little brothers. Listen, man, you've helped a lot of people come together and find a stride, man. Like he's hearing you, brother. Because I mean, look, AFC, come on,
It is cool.
it is cool, man.
It is cool.
Greatest show on earth.
Yeah, at least the state. It is, man. Kenny, I really do appreciate you, man. I appreciate your time so much. I know you got a big old steak to eat at the house. We need to get you on again. I want to hear more stories.
Definitely.
I want to talk to you more.
I definitely love to, man. And check this. I'd love anybody that hears this is struggling, man. I'm open 24/7, dude. We could Waffle House it. We could do whatever. And we ain't got to talk about nothing but how good the waffle is. You know what I mean? I'm just that guy, dude. Like, it ain't got to be nothing crazy. So if anybody out there that needs some help, man, you just need somebody to talk to.
And it don't get no more real than that. Give the guy a shout. Any church in there that would like to have somebody come talk, need any kind of help with any kind of drug problem, just any kind of problem in general.
No doubt.
Kenny's the guy, man. He's a good cat. Kenny, I've appreciated the time today, man. I love you so much.
Love you, man.
This is what the podcast should be. This was good. This was a great day, and I appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir. No problem, brother.
Thank y'all for tuning in.